Okay, hello everyone. I decided to start this vlog in this exact moment because it turns out we have some unexpected guests in our apartment. Can you guess who? No, you can't. We have ants, like proper, actual, tiny little ants crawling in some places, on some walls, on the floor, whatever. I noticed it a couple of weeks ago in my room. So I was in my room, and a couple of hours after I turned on the heating, I turned on the radiator in my room, I noticed them like crawling everywhere under it. There were not that many, but there were still a bunch of them. So I took care of them. I removed them from there basically. And I thought it was just a one-off thing. It's not gonna happen. And yesterday I noticed a couple of those again, like right here on the sofa. And then today when I entered the bathroom, they were like at the entrance. So yeah, this is how our week started, with an ant invasion. Probably gonna have to call the landlord. And you know the funny thing is that I always thought that, like, because I first found them in my room. Before that, my ceiling in my room, it was in the vlog, it all got wet from the rain. Then I had a bit of a mold, like in the corner of my room, because my room got pretty humid and cold. But now it went away, but still, it happened also. And then when I saw the ants, I just thought, God, my room is like cursed, because things keep happening to it all the time, and Nick's room is fine, but apparently it's not my room only this time. I'm not sure how we got them in the first place, but what I think is that because I don't really eat anything in my room, so there were no foods or anything on the ground, so they pretty much didn't, there was no reason for them to be there. But me and Nick, we both eat like in the living room. So I guess the way it happened is that sometimes there can be like crumbs or anything like that on the floor, and we have like a carpet floor, as you can see, so sometimes you might not even notice them. And that's what led to the ant invasion, apparently. So if somebody out there had a similar experience, please let me know in the comments how it was, how it started, and what did you do in the end. Oh God, you would not believe what just happened. So I sent an email to my landlord. I told him about the ant problem and stuff like that. He said, well, he responded, he said what we can do and stuff like that. And then after the part where he answered my question about the ants, he wrote, PS, your film clip about the climb to the top of the monument tower was very good and professional. He watches my videos. My landlord watches my videos. Oh God. That's weird. That's really weird. But it's really cool. So if you're watching this, thank you. I'm currently going to an event because I like going to events. I think it's really exciting. Frank Turner, a famous British musician, he just released a book. So he's having like a book tour where he's gonna read some parts of his book, he's gonna play some music, and we're just gonna have fun. So that's where I'm going right now. So I just arrived at the venue, and it's just so cool here. Look at it. It's like a little conference area.
I remember specifically, actually, and this isn't in the book, there was this one occasion where we all got really, really trashed.
No!
And this guy called Steve, I'm not going to say his surname because this is legally dubious. Steve got so trashed he got convinced that there were Chinese soldiers hiding around the room. They were really tiny.
They are, you know.
No, but I mean, he was going, and like he was convinced he was being chased by the Chinese army. And then
that sounds like a good scene.
It was terribly healthy. My mother would have approved.
Yeah.
And the following weekend, Jay had a new song called Steve and the Secret Chinese Army. Which A was brilliant, but also there was something in that wasn't, folk music is, I can't be asked that argument about the definition of folk music, but for me...
Okay, I'm sure everybody wants you to do that.
We're in the English Folk Songs and Song Society, it's kind of appropriate. But yeah, that kind of immediacy, this is a song about us, about the shit we did last weekend, that made such a huge impact on me, because at the time I was a millionaire trying to write complicated songs about Polish communists.
Yeah.
That didn't really mean anything to anybody, least of all me. And it was something like, fuck, that's what songwriting should be.
So you kind of went from being a textbook to being a newspaper almost.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And it's songs about us and about who we are and what we do. And that was just so powerful to me. And then I kind of basically copied that idea. The first in air quotes, solo song that I wrote was a song called The Real Damage.
Oh.
And I had this weekend when me and my buddy Paul got completely trashed, and we were out in Nambucca at some point, apparently.
Okay.
But basically the deal was we got separated, we were out of our minds, and I woke up, didn't really know where I was, went home and was trying to call Paul, going, where the fuck are you? What happened? And eventually I got hold of him, and he was at work. And I was like, why are you at work? It's fucking Sunday. And he was like, what the shit are you talking about? It's Monday. And I've lost an entire day. And one of the interesting things for me is that Ben and I learned to play music together.
Right.
We were in Knee Jerk together. We were actually in a band before Knee Jerk, which was god awful. Then we were in Knee Jerk, then we were in Million Dead.
What was that band called?
Okay.
Just get it out. That feels so much better.
There's a song by Goldfinger, you know Goldfinger?
Yeah.
Band, in which he lists a bunch of punk bands in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes like Black Flag, Unfit, Dead Kennedys, and then he goes, but it's and we, as kids, we never hear what he said. It turns out it says Bad Religion, but to us it sounded like he said Badger Doritos.
It's an understandable mistake, actually, I agree.
So we formed a band called Badger Doritos.
They sound knockout.
We were fucking terrible.
Okay.
There you have it, just some casual dancing, as they say here. Not dancing, but dancing. That was really, really good. I really enjoyed the night. For those of you who don't know, Frank Turner is like folk, punk, something like that. Like folk, punk rock, something like that. That's the closest like description of his music that I can come up with at the moment. But and the venue was really like also like really folky, like it really like just I don't know why, but if I was to describe the venue, it was folky. And it did turn out that it's actually like a lot of folk artists are playing there all the time. And we had a really cool Q&A and really cool interview with him. And the music, he played a few songs, which I'm gonna show at the end of this video, so check them out, it's really good. And yeah, just in general, check out his music. He's really, really, really cool. I've just watched a really, really cool movie. It's called About Time, and it came out, it came out a couple of years ago. I don't know about you, but I'm like huge on movies, and to be honest, like movies are the only thing that can genuinely make me cry. Well, I mean movies and just like music and just any kind of art. Apart from that, I don't really feel that emotional about anything, to be honest. But this was one of those, and it was just really good and really like uplifting and really just watch it. About Time, that's what it's called. So right now I'm in the middle of reading this book, The Rosie Project, and it's basically about this guy who is a scientist. And if you watch The Big Bang Theory, like the series, where they have this character called Sheldon, one of the main characters, who is like really, really unemotional and really nerdy and really like, he's just like terrible at emotions and complimenting people and any feelings or anything like that. So this character in the book is basically like that. And he meets this girl whose name is Rosie, and basically they end up going out and dancing and stuff like that, and then they share a cab after the evening. When they drop off Rosie at her place, bear in mind that he's like totally bad at emotions and expressing like his feelings or anything like that. He's basically like a robot. So this is what happens when he drops off the girl at her place. Rosie opened the taxi door. I willed her to go, but she had more to say. Don, can I ask you something? One question. Don is the main character. One question. Do you find me attractive? Gene, his best friend, told me the next day that I got it wrong. But he was not in a taxi after an evening of total sensory overload with the most beautiful woman in the world. I believed I did well. I detected the trick question. I wanted Rosie to like me, and I remembered her passionate statement about men treating women as objects. She was testing to see if I saw her as an object or as a person. Obviously, the correct answer was the latter. I haven't really noticed, I told the most beautiful woman in the world. Right now I'm having the best walk near Piccadilly, but I'm on like little streets that are not on the Piccadilly itself, but if you go deeper, that's where you find them, and there are not many people here at all. And it's a really, really cool place here. Like a lot of the shops are closed because it's Sunday, but what I really like about it is that there are not many people at all, and there are all kinds of like very random, very specific shops which is really cool to just like walk around and see them. Some of you might not know this, but a lot of the pubs in London have weird names. There is one right there, the Green Man. Sorry, it was really windy, so I had to go somewhere, and I chose a bookshop, obviously. So a pub with a name like the one that I just showed. And also I saw a pub called Eat, Drink, Garden. That's it, just 3 words. No idea how that happened. And also the Queen's Head and a Pint or something like that. The reason a lot of the pubs in London have those weird names is that at the times when those pubs were open, the owners of those places, a lot of them couldn't read. So basically they were coming up with like names based on visual things like pictures or drawings or whatever that is. So if you're in London and you see a pub with a very weird name, that's alright, that's normal. It's just the people who owned them in the beginning, they couldn't read, unfortunately. And on that note, I think I'm gonna wrap up this week. Thanks for watching again. Like and subscribe to the video if you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next week. Bye.
Might think through, you know where else to go. Then I remember you and the way you shine my truth in all you do. And if you remember me, you could save me from the way I tend to be. Way I tend to be. Some days I wake up, days my dear, and don't know where I am. I've been running now so long, I'm scared, I've forgotten how to stand. And stand around in airport bars, gather thoughts to think. And if all I had was one long road, to drive a man to drink. And then I remember you and the way you shine like truth in all you do. And if you remember me, you could save me from the way I tend to be. 'Cause I said I love you so many times, the words can't die in my mouth. And then it each time with each beautiful woman that somehow it never works out. We used to part in my class heart and taught me, and here's what I learned. That love is about all the changes you make, and not just 3 small words. And then I catch myself catching yourself and someone else in a crowded space, and it takes me somewhere I cannot quite place. And then I remember you and the way you shine like truth in all you do. And if you remember me, you could save me from the way I tend to be, the way I tend to be.